Hey guys, I'm just going to respond to Robin here. She sent me some videos of her kind of starting to work on some stuff with Riley last night. And the couple of points that I wanted to make, she did a super good job. First of all, I want to say it's really hard to work on new things, and it's always going to be frustrating, and it's always going to be tough. So I really want to commend her for working on these things and being willing to send video and do all that stuff, because there's no way you can improve, which should be, the real goal, if, you're so worried about your ego that you can't kind of be wrong. I mean, the only way you're ever going to learn to be more right is if you kind of expose the things that you're doing that don't work. So the first thing is that she's using a web halter and a chain. So there's two issues with that. When part of what this is about is teaching direction. And so a rope halter, we teach direction with that. It has good even pull both directions, where if you have a chain through it, comes through the side, that's not giving even pull both ways. We're not teaching balance or any of that. So I always, when I'm trying to train on a horse with something, I always use a rope halter. They're less able to learn to pull against it or to get hard. This horse, Rini, was actually born the day my grandma died. She's I don't know, 11 or 12 now. We don't do anything with her, so I'm assuming she's very lazy. She gets ridden occasionally, so I'm assuming she's going to be kind of similar. So the next thing that you were doing, Robin, is you were really focused. There's two things. You made a lot of motion like this, okay? And you were really focused on just sending him around here. Okay, so what I want you to be more focused on, it's not just about him going around in a circle. It's about this direction here, okay? So most of what you were doing was just trying to keep him just going around like this, right? What I care more about is what happens when you change direction and that intention. The other thing is subtly, as you were going around like this, I want you to watch my feet. As he was coming around, because you were coming here, you were backing away from him, and it was really subtle. But you would back away from him, and then you would kind of give him a little bit of this. Well, if I do this a bunch of times, and eventually I don't expect her to go anywhere, she's just going to stand there. So every time you make a motion towards him, he needs to go somewhere. You shouldn't have to be shaking your rope at him and things like that to make him walk. He needs to walk. So maybe you need to ask for a little bit more. The other thing is you were way more focused on his hip. I want you to focus more on his shoulder, right behind his shoulder. That's still where his drive line is. So I want you to focus more on that. And I want you to make him get somewhere. He needs to, if you step to him, he needs to move. You're teaching him about you being in his space and moving away from that. So that doesn't work. If you subtly step away from him, you're subtly releasing pressure. You're further out of his bubble. And even if it's this subtle, it was this subtle with you. Instead, what I'm wanting to do is close in the bubble and make him get out there more. And so you need to really emphasize that. That's the two things. So more important is control over his front feet and shoulders, because this is where you get to go. He comes into your space and push him out of your space, okay? And then the second thing is don't make useless motion. So don't threaten him with a little bit of motion. If he's walking and you're having to cluck him to keep him walking, think about it like this. For me, clucking, every time I cluck or I ask for something, I'm asking for them to move up a notch. So if every time I cluck, I don't expect them to move up a notch, whether it's move away from me, move faster, move whatever, I'm just teaching them that it doesn't mean anything. It turns into being like saying So you don't want to use useless motion. If you're ever going to make a motion, ask them to do something, you need to expect them to move, and with your whole body. Those are the two things that I saw the most, but good job, keep up the good work. I look forward to your next video in a rope halter.